So hopefully our calculator looks like this. There are obviously maybe not pink. So we're going to use sine. We're trying to find what the refractive index is equal to. So we write down our equation. Sine I is equal to sine R is equal to N sine R, and we should really put these in brackets. So because we find an N, the sine of I and the sine of R, they are things, they come together. Just like if you've got x squared and you're moving that around, you wouldn't move the x and leave the square, so you don't leave the sine over R, and you can't cancel them either. We then move this around to say, well, sine I over sine R is equal to N. And on our calculator, first off, I'd recommend using this button here rather than the divide button. Otherwise, you're going to need more brackets. You click sine. My angle of incidence is 48, so sine 48, close that bracket. Over there, I've got a sine of 23. 23, close that bracket. When you press equal, that gives you your refractive index of N is equal to 1.9. It's a ratio, so it doesn't have any units. What you might also have to do is one that looks like this, where we don't know what this angle is. I should really have. So we start off again with sine I is equal to N sine R. I've got the refractive index, I've got the angle of incidence, it's the angle of refraction that I want to know. So I'll rearrange this to give sine R is equal to sine I over N. Now I put that into my calculator. I get sine of 52 divided by my N of 1.3. So I'm just putting 1.3 there, and that gives me 0.6060. Okay, 0.606162. We'll leave it there now. So that's equal to sine R. Now, to undo this signing and get the actual angle, we're going to have to use the inverse function. So it's a bit like if you've got x squared is equal to 9, well, the opposite of squaring something is square rooting. So we square root both sides, and that sort of gets rid of the square. Squaring and square rooting undoes it. And so then we're left with that, and that obviously comes out to be 3. Here, we just take sine to the minus 1 of both sides. So we get R is equal to sine to the minus 1 of 0.606162. Now you can just use your answer button on your calculator, but I'm going to actually plug this number in. So we do shift sine to get sine to the minus 1. So inverse sine, 0.606162. When we press equals, that gives us an angle, and then we just apply our rule of, does that make sense? Well, I know it should be smaller than 52 because it's going into a denser medium, and we're assuming it's going from air, where the refractive index is 1, but all our calculations will do that. So I'm expecting a smaller angle. That's because it's going denser medium, so it should bend towards the normal. And it's not ridiculously smaller. I mean, my drawing is, yeah, I could take that to be 37, fine. So our angle there, so angle of refraction would be equal to 37 degrees.